Hello, fourth graders. We are going to start lesson 2 for our geometry packet. On your screen, you should see our learning intentions and success criteria for this unit. We're going to learn about lines and angles and lines of symmetry. The first thing I want to talk about is whether or not you can think of points and lines and line segments and rays that you might see at home or outside. Think about that for a minute. If you want to pause the video and look around, and then share with yourself or your family what you see. Or if we post this video on Classroom, you can comment what kind of lines you see at home. I can say that my pencil to me looks like a line. It could be a ray where it starts here and then it goes off in that direction forever. And the tip of my pencil reminds me of a point. So now we're going to get started on our packet. So you should see the packet on your screen. Okay, we're going to start on the first page. So put your name up here at the top. And like I said in the first video, you can color this page later when you have time. The second page is a pretest. So when we are done today, you can take this test and see how comfortable you are with what you already know about geometry. And then we'll probably post this test on Google Classroom when we're all done with the unit. What we're going to focus on for lesson 2 is this page. I can draw and identify points, lines, line segments, and rays. So the first one we're going to start with is a point. What is a point and how do we draw it? A point is an exact location. So you should be writing this down with me. So when we do geometry, we talk about what's the definition, and then we talk about how we would draw a point. So tiny little point, and we will label that point with a letter. And it doesn't matter what letter it is. Could be A, could be B, could be C. We just pick an example. And then if we are writing about it, how do we write it? We would call it point A. Remember, you can pause this video or rewind if I am going too fast for you. The next one that we're going to talk about is a line. A line is straight and extends in both directions forever without end, just like a number line that we would draw. A line is straight, so it has no corners or bends or curves. A line is straight and extends in both directions, extends to the left and the right forever. A line is straight and extends in both directions without end. So it keeps going. Okay, then how would we draw this for a line? We just draw a straight line and we put arrows at both ends to show that it continues forever. Now, if we had a whole geometry picture, how would we identify which line we are talking about? We would pick 2 points on our line, and those points would be labeled with letters, and we would call this line AB. Okay, how do we write that in geometry? We put the name of the line, AB, and above it, we draw a little tiny line. So if I was going to read that, I would read this as line AB. So how do we draw it? What are the math symbols that we use? And what would we say? Line AB. The next one we're going to talk about is a line segment, which is just a piece of a line. Again, remember, if I'm going too fast for you, pause the video and catch up or rewind. A line segment is a part of a line that has a beginning and an end. So we're going to write a line segment is part of a line that connects 2 points. Okay, how do we draw that? We have 2 points that are connected by a line segment, part of a line. If we had a picture of a bunch of lines and line segments, how do we identify that specific line segment? We need to label the points, and then using math symbols, a line segment is a line, but it has no arrows on it. And what would we say? We would say, I'm talking about line segment AB. The last one we're going to talk about is a ray. A ray starts at one point and continues in a straight path in one direction with no end. A ray starts at one point and continues in a straight. All of these lines and line segments and rays are straight, no bends, no curves. Continues in a straight path in one direction. It's kind of like half of a line. Okay, how do we draw that? we start with a point, and our ray only goes one way. And it continues in that one way forever. The math symbol that we use for ray, we have to put a second point on here, and we label those points A, B. And again, it doesn't matter what letters you use, you just pick something. The math symbol we use is AB with a little ray above it. And what do we say? Ray AB. Okay, so we've filled out this page, and now I'm going to show you how we put these little tabs on. So remember, if I'm going too fast for you, you can pause or rewind. So now we're going to take this page that has our little flap covers on it, and I'm going to color mine. Just go like outline around the sides. You can use any color you want. I'm going to use my pink and my blue. And my yellow. You can pause the video if you want and get these colored, and then restart it when you are ready for the next step. And you can use any color you want. You can use all different colors or all the same color, doesn't matter. Now I'm going to cut these along the dotted lines. Okay, hopefully you have all of your little pieces cut out. Lines and rays and points and line segments is what they should look like. And to attach these, the best thing to use is tape. If you don't have tape, you can use glue. If you don't have either one, then you could use a stapler or don't attach them at all. So I'm just going to take a piece of tape and make sure you're attaching the right one to the right spot. So we start with point. Now, you're not going to put your tape on the long way. That's not how you would attach a door. You want to have it attached at multiple points. So we're going to put our tape on horizontal, and that way it lifts up and down like a door. And I will do line, and line segment. I'll lift this out of the way so I don't put my tape on it. Oops, yeah, I accidentally taped that one. Lift those out of the way and put my last one on for ray. Okay, so that makes it a little interactive flip book. So you can lift it up, say what's a point, an exact location, what's a line, is straight and extends forever in both directions. What's a line segment? A piece of a line that connects 2 points. And what is a ray? Starts at one point and goes on forever, but only in one direction. Okay, now we are ready to do our second and last page for today. So this is the part where we get to color. So we are taking what we learned about points and line segments and rays. And we are going to highlight the points in both shapes. So when we have two lines that come together, wherever they cross makes a single point. So all of our corners are points. And remember, you can use any color that you want. And really, I could put a point anywhere. A point is just a single place, and they're usually labeled with a letter. So I could call this point K. If I really felt like I wanted to put another point in, then I could do this one and I could label it L. In geometry, we usually look at where an angle is, which, by the way, is made up of two rays. Where they come together, that's a point. Our corners are often labeled with points. In our next picture, we're going to highlight the lines. So not the rays, not the line segment, just the lines that have arrows on both ends. And let's give our lines some names. So to name a line, I have to have 2 points. So I'm going to call this line BF. So that is line BF. And this line, you can use any letters you want. J and E. So this line can be J, E. So that makes it so that if you're trying to talk to someone about this picture, now I can tell the lines apart. If I say, look at line BF, you know that I mean this line. If I say, let's talk about line JE, I know that I'm talking about this line. Okay, now we're going to highlight the line segments. So these are just the pieces of lines that go from dot to dot. This one. And this one. Not this one, because this is a ray, and not this one, because this is a line, and we're looking for line segments. Again, let's give those some names. L, M, and this one can be O, P, and I could name these points too if I wanted to. So then if I wanted to talk about this picture, I could say, I'm looking at line segment OP, or I'm looking at line segment LM. Now for the last one, we're going to highlight the rays. So I said that before. See how it takes 2 rays to make an angle, and they meet at a point. So we are highlighting the rays that start in one place and go off in one direction forever. So highlight the rays so we don't highlight this line. Now we can give those a name. Here we would put a letter at the vertex, the corner letter, so we can do Q. And we'll put R, and we'll put S. So now if I'm trying to communicate which ray I'm talking about, I'm either talking about ray QR, or I am talking about ray QS. Okay, again, you don't ever feel like you need to keep up with me. You can always pause and rewind. So we did the first page in our packet. We talked about points and lines and line segments and rays. Your goal is to know those vocabulary words and to be able to draw them and to be able to identify that is a point, that is a line, that is a ray. And we also went over what math symbols to use when you write these. So on the second page, that's what we practice doing, is identifying them and labeling them. That is lesson 2, and tomorrow we will move on to lesson 3, where we will talk about the different kinds of angles: right angles, acute angles, and obtuse angles. So I will see you tomorrow. Work hard. Don't forget to spend some time outside and do some reading.